Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss on classification of law. For a better understanding of law, classification is necessary. In this video, the topics which I am going to touch is international law, municipal law, the private and the public law. I will be dealing in details with the public and private law.
And yes, if you like my video, please do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. Before we start with the public and the private law, let us have a quick understanding of what is international law and municipal law. International laws are those laws which regulate the relationship among nations. However, these laws are not binding but are based on the reciprocity. On the other hand, the municipal laws regulate the relationship between the state and its citizens and determine the relationship among citizens. If you can see here, individual is the core, is at the center, who is surrounded by municipal laws or the national laws, which is the law of the nation to which he belongs. And surrounding all nations is the international law, which regulates the relationship among nations. Now we will further move ahead to discuss in details about the public and the private law. What is a public law? Public law is anything which is regulating the relationship between the state and the individual. Who is the state? The state is the government. The government of that country and any agencies of the government come under the ambit of the meaning of the state. Under the public law, you have three kinds: the constitutional, the administrative, and the criminal. If you can look at the picture, you can quickly guess that our next topic or the next law which we are going to discuss is the constitutional law. Correct. The Constitution is the supreme law book of any country. The constitutional law is considered to be the supreme law of the country. The nature of any state is determined by its constitution. It provides the structure of the government and all the organs of the states, that is, the legislature, executive, and the judiciary, derive their power from the constitution. In India, the Indian constitution gives us the fundamental rights and the directive principles of state policy. The next is the administrative law. Administrative law mainly deals with the powers and the functions of the administrative authorities. These administrative authorities are the government agencies, government authorities. It deals with the powers by the administrative bodies and mechanisms whereby their actions can be controlled. It provides legal remedies in case of violation. If any of the three branches of the government violate their powers, try to encroach upon the fundamental rights of an individual, then the administrative law can be used in order to check them. And administrative law is a very important part in any country. The next is, if you can see the picture, you will be able to recognize the next is the crime scene do not enter. Yes, our next topic of discussion, as you all can rightly guess, is the criminal law. It is the most interesting part of any country. The criminal law deals with the acts which are prohibited by law and defines the prohibited act as an offense. It prescribes punishments, and for criminal offenses, criminal law is very important part. Why? Because it maintains the society. It maintains the law and order, which is the most important thing in a society. The Indian Penal Code and the Criminal Procedure Code in India regulates the criminal law. This brings us to the end of our public law. Now we'll move on to the private law. Private law is a law which regulates the relationship between the individuals, associations, and corporations. Examples of private law include the personal law, the property law, and the law of obligation. If you could see the picture, marriage, divorce. The marriage and divorce laws are regulated by our personal laws. This branch of law regulates the relationship between marriage, divorce, and succession. These laws are based on religion, ritual, and customs. For example, if a Hindu Marriage Act 1955 regulates the marriage of the Hindus, whereas the Muslim Marriage Act is governed by their Shariat laws. The next is the property law. This law deals with the ownership of immovable and movable properties. In India, the immovable property is regulated by the Transfer of Property Act of 1882, whereas the movable property is regulated by the Sales of Good Act of 1930. The next comes the law of obligation. Obligation means the responsibilities. This branch of law pertains to an area where a person is required to do something because of his promise, contract, or law. If you are under an obligation, if you have signed a contract, then law of obligation is applied on you. It puts an obligation on the person to perform certain actions which necessarily arise as a consequence of an enforceable promise or agreement. What is a contract? A contract is basically it's an agreement which is enforceable by law. You have to fulfill the terms of the contract. Now the last part is just a quiz if you all could answer. Think and tell me. Accident, injury, claim and compensation. If these are included, what do you think? Will it come under the private law or the public law?
Please try to solve it and write your answer in the comment section. And if you want me to make a video on any other topics in your legal studies curriculum, please write it in the comment section as well, and I'll surely do it.